Hey, it's Mark Lanier with your video thought for the day. All right, I have a question for you. How are your toes? Yeah, that's right. How are your toes? I say, my toes are great. Well, that's really good. But have you ever had the experience of trying to move around in a dark, strange room where it is pitch dark and you hit your toe on something? I've had that happen. Absolutely excruciating. I mean, it's like, ah! And I have learned especially if I'm sleeping in a strange place, to leave at least some kind of light on, because I don't remember where everything is and I'm tired of stubbing my toes. Darkness is something that isn't only in a room when all the lights are off. We can be darkened in our minds, and we can be darkened in our emotions and our hearts. We can have relationships that are dark, and darkness as a metaphor for the blindness in life and the difficulties of life is one that's not new. It's an old metaphor. Well, here's what I'm driving at. I'm reading through 2 Corinthians right now, and I've come across something that for some reason had slipped my mind. And that is the way Paul uses the passage out of Genesis 1, verse 3. Now, if you're reading the Bible and you're reading Genesis 1, verse 3, it's during the creation, and God says in verse 1-3, let there be light. And there was light. Now that statement, let there be light, means, if you're reading it in the original Hebrew, or for that matter, the Greek translation of the Hebrew, the Septuagint, it means let there be light. But Paul takes it a step further in 2 Corinthians when he uses it to illustrate a point. Paul expounds on that passage and uses it in a way to express the metaphor that one can derive from the Genesis passage. Here's what Paul says in 2 Corinthians chapter 4, verse 6. Paul says, for God, who said, let light shine out of darkness, has shone in our hearts to give us the light of the knowledge of the glory of God in the face of Jesus Christ. Now, think about this for a moment. Paul doesn't say, for God who said, let there be light. Instead, Paul explains and uses language that uses his metaphor more ably. Paul explains what God did when he said, let there be light. And he says, let light shine out of darkness. And that's what light does. Think about it, especially in Paul's day, where light in the darkness is a candle. Or an oil lamp, or a torch. You've got a candle, an oil lamp, a torch in a dark place, and the light shines out into the darkness. And that's what Paul was seeing in the Genesis passage. Let there be light, there was darkness. And for example, the sun shines out into the darkness of space. That's what it does. So God said, let the light shine out of darkness. And then Paul takes that metaphor and turns it into our lives and says, God shines into our hearts the light of the knowledge of the glory of God in the face of Christ. In other words, whatever darkness you've got in your life, whatever darkness I've got in my life, be it in our thoughts, be it in our emotions, our attitudes, our spirit, our physical life. God calls in the face of Christ and the glory of Christ into our darkness for light to shine out into it. What is the glory of the face of Christ? It's that Jesus Christ not only changes who we are, but ensures who we will be. If we walk in that faith and we trust in Christ to shine our path, to be our light, to not only transform who we are, but ensure who we will be as he continues to perfect us, then that light will shine into all of our darkness. I love it. It's your video thought for the day.